What's up, y'all? Scarberry here with day 1 of my playthrough of King's Quest VI. Air today, gone tomorrow. This is day 55 of my 100 Days of Gaming. This is the second time I'm recording this. If you saw on Twitter, I already recorded this part, and because my setup and trying to reset up OBS the way I want, I ended up basically making a podcast. And since you probably want to actually see the game while you're listening to me prattle on about basically nothing, I'm refilming this. So today is actually day 56, and I will be posting episodes 1 and 2 of my playthrough of King's Quest VI today. So my apologies for that. So I guess everything any mistakes I would have made in the first, I'm basically just going to skip over that to save you time, because I know what I'm doing now. But I'm going to show you the opening. I'm going to do my best to be quiet, and I'm already going to warn you that it was really janky the first time I watched it, because they tried their best to do 3D stuff, and it's really cool for its time. You have to remember this game came out in like 1990 or 1992, but it's kind of glitchy looking, so just fair warning. Long ago, in the castle of a kingdom called Daventry.
Alexander, here you are. Oh, you're still not thinking about Cassima, are you?
I suppose I am.
Son, it's been months. You've got to pull yourself together. After all, you only met her that once.
I know.
Have you discovered anything about the land of the Green Isles?
No. No one's even heard of it. It's like she's just vanished.
I wish I could help. Please try to think about something else, dear.
I'll try, Mother.
Despite his family's concern, Alexander remains tormented by thoughts of Cassima.
Alexander, I feel so alone. I don't know what to do. Alexander, I wish you were here.
Cassima! Wait! Mother! Mother, come quick!
Alexander, what on earth? You're white as a ghost.
Mother, I saw Cassima. She was in the mirror.
In the mirror? The magic mirror?
Yes! And it showed me how to find her.
How?
The stars! I saw the stars outside her window. I can navigate by the stars.
Oh, Alexander, if you really go...
It will be all right, Mother. I promise.
3 long months, Prince Alexander sailed the known seas and beyonds.
Land ho! Land ho! Land ho!
Hours pass. As the ship nears the shore, day turns to night, and the sea turns violent. King's Quest! Okay, I think this is the credits, so... Okay. Yep, totally copyrighted. I know. I don't think I can skip this part. Well, I'll skip it in the video. Gotta change it up a little bit. Okay, time to play! Oh look, he didn't drown and die. So we have a game to play.
Alexander is standing on a beach littered with debris from his shipwreck. A path leads north into the lush green island. An occasional breeze rustles the nearby foliage.
Ooh, so descriptive. So also, I don't know if you noticed in the opening cinematic, but they changed the voice actress for Cassima, which, considering that you probably don't talk to her very much in the game, I'm a little upset about, because I actually kind of found the high-pitched, kind of annoying voice appealing in the sense that it was endearing, but not so much very princessy. But it does sound like she aged from like age 15 to age 32 between games, so that's just my opinion.
The remains of Alexander's sailing ship lie dashed upon the distant shore. Alexander's royal insignia ring lies abandoned on the sand. It must have slipped from his finger during the shipwreck. Fortunately, it was not lost in the sea.
That is very fortunate. Bink!
Alexander picks up his royal insignia ring from the beach. A long plank lies on the beach. No doubt it once belonged to Alexander's ship.
Okay. This is one of the things we found last episode that would be really hard to find.
Alexander pushes the plank to one side. A box has been partially buried under sand.
Yeah, there's your cue, and this isn't something that would have been obvious. Oh well.
Alexander takes the coin and leaves the ruined box where it is.
Yeah. Alright, now we can head north. Alright, well, wait.
A grand old tree stretches its luxurious limbs out over the crossroads. Large leafy ferns spread their fronds across the fertile ground. To the left, a small village seems to invite the weary traveler. In the distance, a majestic castle shines in the sun.
I would like to go to that majestic castle. That janky walk. Ta-da! All right.
2 guards take their stance in front of the castle doors. They look quite fierce and have the stiff, blank expression of soldiers on formal duty. The castle appears to be of Moorish architecture. Its marbled walls and delicate inlaid mosaics are unlike anything Alexander has ever experienced before. His own home, though lovely and dear to his heart, seems rough-hewn compared to this delicate beauty.
Oh, the music changed? Oh, that was weird.
The castle doors are firmly shut and bolted. There's a little hut just off the path. Perhaps the guard dogs have an occasional use for it, but it looks empty now.
That's their poop hut. Okay. Well, might as well try it out, right?
No strangers may enter the castle of the crown.
It looks like the dogs are grinning at you, but they're probably just baring their teeth.
Alexander politely addresses the odd-looking guards at the castle doors, hoping to learn more about his predicament.
Good day to you, guards. I was cast upon this island in a storm, and I'm a little confused about my location. Could you tell me what place this is and who lives in this castle?
Hey, what is that you say? A castaway? A likely story. We haven't had any foreigners in this part since Alhazred arrived.
Don't be so rude, Gruff. He's not asking for any secrets. You're standing on the Isle of the Crown, lad, and this is the Castle of the Crown. The royal family resides here. Rather, what's left of the royal family.
Ooh.
The Isle of the Crown.
What happened to the rest of the
But
family?
tell me, am I anywhere near the land of the Green Isles?
This is the land of the Green Isles. The Isle of the Crown is the main island, foolish boy.
Then Princess Cassima must live in this very castle.
Aye, the princess is indeed our treasured jewel to guard, and we consider it an honor.
I like that dog. Sup, dog? You're my dog. Alright. I already checked behind the castle. There's nothing there yet. I don't know if something will happen back there, but right now it's basically just a path alongside the wall, and I can't do anything over there, so we're gonna go back. I wonder if I can fix the speed a bit. I don't want to speed it up too far. That's better. Alright, and let's go to town. Not a euphemism. Let's literally go to town. Okay.
Alexander is standing on a sunny village street. There are open shops to his right, a hard-packed path beneath his feet, and palm trees waving over his head. To the north, a key-shaped arch leads to another part of the village.
Is that a key-shaped arch or a keyhole-shaped arch?
An old beggar is peddling his wares in the village. He offers a variety of lamps, all neatly lined up on a long pole.
What? I interrupted him. Whoops.
Good day, peddler.
Good day, sir. If you would like to get one of my fine new lamps, I'll need an old lamp in trade.
Isn't it a rather bad business? Taking old lamps and giving new lamps in exchange?
That's really none of your business.
There's always a chance that I'll find a genie. If I had a genie, I'd be richer than a king. Besides, there's always a roaring business in antique luminaries.
Interesting. Alright, let's go here first. Oops. Ah, there we go.
Hello. I will be right up.
Okay.
Now, what can I do for you?
An old man occasionally steals sidelong glances at Alexander from under a concealing hood.
If you think that that man looks shady, it's probably because he is.
Good day, sir.
The mysterious old man just ignores Alexander.
Right. See?
A small fire burns in the fireplace despite the warmth of the day outside. Perhaps the bookshop owner simply finds it comforting. And burn a perfectly good hand?
I love the sense of humor in these games.
The fireplace can provide Alexander with nothing but warmth.
I meant to click on the book. There we go.
Alexander rests his feet for a moment. Alexander picks up and leafs idly through a book called The Changing Role of Court Entertainers Through the Ages. Well, that was refreshing. The bookshop owner is a thin, middle-aged man. His intelligent eyes are slightly blurry from long nights spent reading by candlelight.
Alright, let's go chat.
Good day, sir. I'm a stranger in this land. What can you tell me about the land of the Green Isles?
That is quite a question, young man. Who are you, and what would you have me tell you?
My name is Alexander. I know I'm on the Isle of the Crown, but I'd like to know whatever you can tell me about this island, and if there are other islands nearby.
You are indeed a stranger. Anxious is the man who knows not the customs of the land beneath his feet. This island is called the Isle of the Crown, because the royal family's castle is here. Besides the castle, we also have this village, and the docks over to the west. There are at least 3 other islands: the Isle of the Sacred Mountain, the Isle of the Beast, and the Isle of Wonder.
At least 3? Does no one know for certain?
This is no ordinary land, Alexander. The land of the Green Isles has always been a place of vague boundaries, as if islands come and go. Legend speaks of a 4th island, an isle shrouded in mists. I myself have never seen it. Then, too, the land of the Green Isles is said to exist on the boundaries of this world and the next. Even darker places are reputed to be closer here than anywhere else in the world.
That's quite a claim.
Claim, yes, but probably just local superstition. We who live here on the Isle of the Crown, at least, sleep well enough at night.
Those first 3 islands you mentioned, how might I learn more about them?
Ideally, a young man seeking such knowledge would travel to their shores and learn about them firsthand. Meeting the leaders of each place would be helpful, naturally. Unfortunately, the ferry no longer runs between the islands. There has been much political unrest, and it has been too dangerous to travel for years. Perhaps the ferryman can tell you more. He has little enough to do these days.
Judgy.
And if you haven't been there already, you might seek an audience at the castle.
Thank you kindly, merchant, for all your good advice.
Ah, but advice is free, Alexander. Making use of it costs much more.
Okay, there we go.
There's a small table near the door that bears a sign. The sign has undergone a number of changes. It once read 10 pence, but that was crossed out and replaced with 5 pence, then 1 pence, then free. The sign currently reads, "Take one, please." Only 1 book remains on the table. It looks like the bookshop owner really wants to get rid of that book.
Curious.
Alexander picks up the book from the small table.
Oh, yes, please, take that book. You have my most humble thanks for doing so, good sir.
Really? Thanks.
Why?
Alexander is carrying a book from the bargain table in the bookshop.
Okay, I want to know why.
Might I return this?
Please, I had a hard enough time getting rid of that book in the first place.
Okay, well, that's not it. So, we will take our leave. Notice that in this game they worked a lot more with perspective, so you'll see this a lot where you'll see things in the foreground. I think they did a pretty good job, though. Ooh, let's go to Yi Pawn Shop.
A large round pot is one of the pottery pieces on display outside the shops.
Let's take a look, shall we?
Alexander examines the large pot. It's currently empty, but a few scraps in the bottom indicate that it is used as a dump site on occasion.
In case you're wondering, yes, that means we just dug through...
Old lamps for new. Old lamps for new.
We just dug through the trash. Let's go in the pawn shop. Hi!
Good day.
Hermes! Okay, let's take a look around.
Towering mightily over the other pawn shop curiosities, the stuffed bear makes an ostentatious display. A strange-looking winged device occupies one corner of the room. It is frail with disuse. Alexander finds it intriguing. Perhaps he thinks it was once used in a local sporting event, in which enthusiasts jumped from cliffs, glided on air currents, and then attempted to land, frequently crunching a bone or two in the process. Alexander shudders at the thought and decides to stick to dragon slaying.
Considering he didn't know anything about it, he certainly knew a lot about it.
A tall skeleton lends an air of mystery to the shop.
I think it'd lend a macabre air to the shop. Whatever.
The land of the Green Isles must have at least one inhabitant with interest in the mystical, for a crystal ball has been traded in, along with the more common household goods. An elegant little glass dish decorates the countertop. The dish is full of green mints offered for the enjoyment of the customer. The pawn shop's counter is made of a sturdy teak. The wood is well worn by eager hands and well oiled by the shop's faithful keeper. The pawn shop owner is a mysterious fellow. His face is old and inscrutable, and there's a glint of sheer iron in his gaze. Still, Alexander senses this is someone he can trust.
Just why? Oh.
Alexander takes a mint.
Yum. Alright.
Good day, merchant. What can you tell me about the land of the Green Isles?
I can tell you she is in a dark time. Without the ferry, communication between the islands has ground to a halt, and so nearly has my business. Why the long ages of peace have ended, and why the crown has not done something about it is beyond me. But then, I am a shopkeeper, not a politician, and can only hope for better days.
Okay.
How abide you, good merchant?
Quite well, though a purchase would not hurt me any.
Hint. Buy something.
Alexander takes a closer look at the items on the counter.
I'm interested in that mechanical nightingale on the counter.
What do you desire to give me in trade? The items on the front counter are all of equally slight value, worth only a copper or two. They are handy items nonetheless.
Okay, so what do? We buy it.
I have this copper coin. Is it of any value to you at all?
Most interesting. I have never seen a Daventry coin before, but it is copper genuine enough. I might even find a buyer who is interested in foreign currency. The items on the front counter are the only things in the store that I can let go for the price of 1 copper. You may make your choice from there.
Alexander looks at the items on the counter to make his selection.
The flute is only made of plain wood, but its notes are fine and true. I see you have noticed my mechanical nightingale. She is made of plain tin, but she sings the sweetest song you can imagine, barely distinguishable from the real thing. Ah, yes, the painter's brush. It was well used by one of the island's best painters. There's a lot of creativity in that brush, and its bristles are still in good condition. Have you an interest in tinder boxes? This one is only slightly battered. It holds a good supply of flint, a sturdy striking pad, and even a candle in case you find yourself with naught else to hold the flame.
Okay, last time, my first go-round, I got the mechanical nightingale, not because it was particularly useful, but just because I liked it. But I'm going to get this because, objectively...
I believe I'll take the tinderbox.
Yeah.
Very well. Your coin is well spent. Remember, this is a pawn shop. I am always willing to take back my own goods in trade.
I'll remember. Thank you.
The game just dropped a gigantic hint. You can come back and trade out the items. That's the whole point. But yeah, last time I got the nightingale, but I can't use it, so I've got to get a tinderbox because since I don't know what I need yet, that just seems the most generally practical. So we'll get that one. And now we're gonna go look for the ferry, or the ferry master, ferry maker, ferry driver, boatman.
There are rose bushes back by the house, as well as the ones on the fence. Somebody who loves roses must live here. There's a young girl in the yard. The girl is dressed in a long, plain orange robe with a thick headdress. From the appearance of her clothes, and from a skittish, fearful look about her, Alexander gets the strong impression that she is a servant, or even worse, a slave. The serving girl appears to be stealing a quiet moment tending the rose bushes. The girl is too far away to hold a conversation with Alexander.
You've still got to do the breakfast dishes, make lunch, and clean the stables yet this morning. And get your veil back on. No one wants to look at your face.
Yes, stepmother.
I did not mean to skip over those, but basically she's just telling her that she's useless and she's got a bunch of chores she still has to do. We didn't miss much. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to skip that.
Hey, stranger, come join me. The water is wonderful, and I can show you the way to the next island.
Hey, it's Ryan Lochte. Alright, we're gonna save. 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 Because I want to show you what happens. Also, oh, I'm going to slow it down just a little bit so we can... There you go. Play.
Considering the poor condition of the shore, it looks like the easiest way to get into the water is just to jump off the pier.
This is obviously a bad idea.
The powerful currents grab Alexander. Struggle as he might, he feels himself being pulled out to sea.
Not a very good swimmer, are you?
Help me!
Sorry, I think not.
As his head submerges for the third time, Alexander finds himself pondering the wisdom of going out on a limb for a stranger.
Yep.
Tickets only. Next.
You do that every time.
Alexander couldn't handle those currents. That boy must be an unbelievably strong swimmer.
Unbelievably. All right, so you've seen the death scene. So we'll speed it up a little bit. And then
Come on, jump in. A little water won't hurt you.
yeah, it literally will, cuz it killed me.
A worn wooden vessel has been dry docked on a jetty. The boat is in sad shape. A hole in the hull and the condition of its boards make it obvious that the vessel is no longer seaworthy.
Aww. No. You shush.
That's strange. The young boy in the water just disappeared. Oh well, perhaps he just dove under the water.
Draw your own conclusions, and you're probably right.
Yeah, what do you want?
That earring. Stylin'.
The ferryman's face has been weathered by the sea air and by worry. He's definitely out of sorts. He glares at Alexander in a most suspicious and unfriendly manner. Alexander promises himself that he will not go home until he has determined what Cassima's feelings are for him, and if she needs his help.
Excuse
There
me.
we go.
My name is Alexander. The owner of the bookshop in the village told me you might be able to help me. I hear you used to run this ferry for the islands. I'd like to talk to you if you have a moment.
You say old Allie sent you? I can't see why. The ferry's not running, you know.
I understand. I'd just like to talk to you about the islands if you don't mind.
Well, I guess it'd be all right if Allie sent you. Well, don't just stand there. Come on inside.
Yay!
What is it you wanted to talk about, young man?
I'm a visitor to these islands. I'd like to learn what I can about the area.
So you said outside. What is it you want to know?
Well, for one thing, why has the island's only ferry been dry docked?
Huh. It just ain't safe to sail these days. What with the islands feuding and all. Wazir Al-Hazred ordered the ferry closed till things settled down. Me, I don't think she'll ever see water again.
But why are the islands feuding?
You got me. Something about stolen property or some such thing. 'Tis a real shame. Things used to be so friendly.
Then this unrest is recent.
A few years is all, but it's been long enough.
Perhaps if the ferry were repaired.
This old thing? This ferry's been out of water so long she's no longer even seaworthy. Her boards have dry rot. She'd fall apart at the first taste of seawater.
But there must be some way to get off this island.
There's only one other way to travel that I know of. A magic map. The owner of the pawn shop can tell you more about that than I can, Alexander.
Tell me more about the ferry.
I remember when I used to ferry Queen Ilaria and Princess Cassima themselves. There was no thought of danger back then. They used to go visiting to care for the needy and to keep up the friendly relations between the islands. I remember their last trip. Things had started getting nasty by then, and when they came back aboard, I gathered that the Queen and the Princess had been received a bit coldly. Princess Cassima was such a pretty thing, and she was terribly upset. But who could be spreading these lies, she asked the Queen, but the Queen had no answer.
Okay. I'll ask one more time.
What do you do now that the ferry no longer operates?
Me? I'm out of a job. The job my ancestors have held for generations. I'm the only one trained to avoid the reef and the rocks. But that knowledge does me no good now.
Is there no other boat on the island? One that might be more seaworthy?
Boats don't last long on these shoals, as you may have found out if you got here by ship. You can be quite sure that this old ferry is,
or was, the only craft on the island.
Bummer. So I guess we have to go for that magic map.
The ferryman is a disgruntled-looking man who is probably a lot younger than he appears. Despite his tired air, he watches Alexander patiently.
Oh, he's putting up with me.
Several oil lamps are strategically placed around the boat's cabin to illuminate the island's dark nights.
They put detail into this.
The ferryman's bunk looks hard and uncomfortable. No wonder he can be so cranky. Alexander is sitting inside the ferry's cabin. The place displays the neatness of a seaman and the sparseness of a bachelor. There are few frills and comforts in the rough wooden environment, but the sunlight shines cheerily on the oaken beams, and the portholes admit a pleasant breeze.
They said seaman.
There's a rabbit's foot on the table. It seems the ferryman is counting on a little luck. The ferryman seems to be the only one in the cabin to address.
No. I thought we were going to talk about it before I just take it, but whatever.
There's nothing of interest on that particular part of the table.
Oh my god.
There's nothing of interest. There's nothing...
I see you have a rabbit's foot. Has it brought you much luck?
As you can see, my luck's been out for some time now, despite that old charm. Why don't you take it with you? Perhaps giving the darn thing away will bring me good fortune at last.
Perhaps it will at that. Thank you.
Alright, well I think that's all I can really do here. Ah, there we go.
Well, I think I'll be going now. Thanks for allowing me into your home.
Posh, not at all. It breaks the boredom, if you know what I mean.
That was a very awkwardly long handshake. Okay, and then I'm pretty sure that this is where we left off, and I just ended up walking back to the village, and that's where I ended day 1. So that's what we're going to do now. And then we're going to be done. But thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Comments are always welcome in the comment section below. Please consider donating to Extra Life. I am on day 55. There are 45 days left, which is quite a bit, but we're over halfway there. And all proceeds go to Children's Miracle Network, so I'd really appreciate it, and I know that the kids would as well. Hit that like button if you liked this video, and I hope to see you back for my next one. Thanks, guys. Bye!